New York Post's Scott Fontana here with the UFC interim heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall. Tom, it's great to see you again. How's everything now that you've made your, what is this, your second, third trip to the city in the last year?
Third or fourth, I think. What is it? Third, I think, yeah. Third trip in 12 months, yeah.
Third trip in 12 months, of course, going back to your first trip where you won said championship. How has this year kind of been adjusting to life where you're a champion, you know, you're recognized as one of the greatest in your sport?
In all honesty, my life looks pretty much the same. I don't really do much different. I just did the same stuff that I was doing before. Nothing else changed. Obviously, there's more people like trying to drag me in different directions and stuff, but in all honesty, I had that anyway. So, yeah, just normal stuff.
What's your relationship now with New York? You're getting a little more comfortable. You're getting kind of preconceived notions are gone now.
Yeah.
What do you think of New York and New Yorkers?
I know what to expect now, whereas this time last year I didn't. Still, every time I come, I'm like overwhelmed how busy it is. Like just the amount of people in a relatively small area is just insane. It's all right. I don't mind it. Like in small doses, it's okay, but I don't know how these people live here. It's crazy.
You are not getting an apartment anytime soon.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So listen. Obviously, you're in town on business. There's a second out of the 3 trips is business. You are the backup fighter for the heavyweight championship fight between Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic this weekend at Madison Square Garden, UFC 309. How does it feel being the backup fighter? I mean, it's kind of like a weird limbo sort of situation, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I have actually been in this position where I'm not sure. I've been to plenty of events and obviously fought on the events. I've been to plenty of events and watched the events, but I've never like showed up with my bag, with the mouthpiece in the bag, unsure whether I'm going to fight on Saturday or not. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to happen, but still, I'm still like half expecting a call to be like, listen, somebody's injured, somebody's sick or whatever. So I can't, until Saturday night, I can't really like enjoy the city. You just asked me off camera, did I have some pizza yet? And I'm like, I'm not going to eat pizza when I'm fighting on Saturday potentially. So it's a little bit weird, but I'm here for it, mentally and physically. So whatever will be, will be.
At what point do you think you can kind of check out and relax a little bit?
When them guys step in the cage and they close the door. I think so, yeah. I think until then, it's kind of like, we don't know. We have no idea. So I've still got a couple of days before that happens. But I think this fight's going to go ahead. I think everybody's pretty sure this time that, you know, these guys are here to do business, and I'm sure it's going to happen.
And of course, it does put you, obviously, you're in this strange limbo just because you are the interim champion, but you're not facing the other heavyweight champion because he is booked against Stipe Miocic. The fight that was supposed to happen last year when you were able to step in, kind of help save the card to that degree when Jon got hurt. Jon has to leave the card. Stipe doesn't fight either. You defeat Sergey Pavlovich. But where does that kind of leave you? Like, you're in a strange spot. Like, where do you look at your status right now?
I see what you mean. It's a weird situation. I think it's quite unprecedented the way that like the UFC have gone about it. But I just kind of have to accept it and roll with it. There's nothing I can really do now. Like the fight's happening in 2 days. So once it's done, and I'm just looking forward to this fight being done. Everything will be clear in just a couple of days' time, and we'll all move forward. And I don't know how that looks. Nobody knows how that looks right now. You never, ever, ever know in MMA, especially at heavyweight. So right now we're just waiting, basically.
But the weird thing is, too, I mean, obviously there's this fight going on. It is a big fight, and a lot of people are looking forward to it. But at Media Day on Wednesday, you were on everyone's tongue. You were kind of the centerpiece without actually being there. How much of this blitz, this media blitz, have you been following, and as much as it pertains to your name in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I've not sat there and watched the full Media Day, do you know what I mean? But I'm obviously aware that media are asking questions about me. And I don't really have to do much. Do you know what I mean? The media have kind of got me. And today is actually the official media day where there's going to be fans there. There's going to be extended media there as well. So I'm sure they're going to talk about me more today as well. So again, this really isn't my fight week. I'm here to step in if the UFC need me. This is not my week. So it's not really my choice to push my name forward and stuff. Other people are just doing that for me. So, yeah, it's not really my business, to be honest with you.
And for those who don't know, under normal circumstances, you would just be the next in line. You would just face the winner of this fight. Or realistically, you would have fought Jon already. But here we are in this situation. But now it's extra complicated because it's like, are one or both of these men going to retire after this fight? And then we've got Jon not expressing a lot of willingness or interest to fight you, even bringing in, when we spoke with Jon last week, the New York Post, he brought in Alex Pereira's name as someone he'd be more interested in facing you. When you heard that, when you heard Pereira's name come into the mix here off of his tongue, I mean, what's your reaction to that?
I'm not really bothered. I'm honestly, on the contrary to what people think, it's not the Jon fight specifically that I'm after. What I'm after is the undisputed title. It's irrelevant to me who holds that. It's me. I want to hold it. I'm not bothered what anybody else is doing. So Jon can do whatever he wants, but I just want just give up the belt if that's the case. I'm fine with that.
Now, would it be a little like disheartening to kind of become the undisputed champion just through, bureaucracy or him just kind of dropping the belt? Would you feel more rewarding if you were able to kind of unify these titles?
I don't know. I never really thought about it, to be honest. I would like to fight Jon Jones for it. That would be pretty cool. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not bothered. Like I say, Jon Jones isn't my focus. My focus is the undisputed heavyweight title. Anything else to me is pretty irrelevant at this point.
And I know you're not considering this the undisputed title because, of course, you have another title that disputes that. We have seen a situation like this before in the UFC's heavyweight division. Go all the way back to Randy Couture is defending his title against Brock Lesnar. He is not announced as the undisputed champion, but merely as the heavyweight champion. Is that what you would expect to hear from Bruce Buffer this weekend as well?
I don't know. I never really thought of it, to be honest, so I have no idea. Yeah.
Understood. So Jon kind of has questioned the need for an interim title to begin with last year. Arguing that maybe it was kind of just put there to save the card in some ways because he wasn't able to fight. What's your reaction to that?
Okay, I would agree. Yep, I have nothing. He's right, but that's circumstantial. It really doesn't have much to do with me.
Now you've been obviously trying to get his attention over the last year. I know your goal is to be the undisputed champion, but it's clear you're hoping to make that fight. You've been trying to make that fight anyway. Some fun videos.
Yeah.
Opportunities to, add some levity to it. I saw the one that you'd done a couple months back where you were looking for him all around the gym and in the pool and that kind of thing, How much fun are you kind of trying to have along the way with this, even though it's probably an obnoxious situation to be a part of?
I'm just trying to get a fight for the undisputed title. As I said, it's not aimed at Jon, but just to have a little bit of fun along the way. That's just my kind of personality anyway. But Jon's takes it very personal. But it's just a bit of fun.
He's kind of considered it annoying. The word he uses is annoying when it comes to you, and that I guess that turned him off of wanting to do business with you, were his words. Would you do anything differently if you could, or do you think your approach was
no. I couldn't care less what Jon or anybody else really thinks. Doesn't really bother me.
Sure. Do you feel like the fact that you're being discussed so much, even when you're not in the room, it's actually kind of elevated your presence worldwide or in the minds of fight fans? Do you think that you just sitting back, you're gaining fans, you're gaining popularity without even trying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky in the fact that a lot of people see what's happened and what's going on and they realise it, which is nice. Like you say, I don't really have to do a whole lot. I don't have to come over here and make a big sing and dance about the whole thing because my name's already getting brought up so much by media and fans and stuff. So yeah, it's cool, it's nice. But like I say, that stuff doesn't really. Honestly, what I'm interested is in is unifying the heavyweight division and being the number one heavyweight in the world, and that is the only thing that's important to me.
There's obviously a part of that fight that's going on this weekend that is getting ignored, which is the fact that Stipe Miocic could win this fight. He's arguably, or probably not arguably, the greatest heavyweight champion in UFC history, if nothing else. What do you think of his chances in this fight?
I wouldn't be writing Stipe off, to be honest. I know he's kind of difficult because the UFC in particular, they put out so many good events week after week, and recency bias is like a real thing. Like a lot of people came into being UFC fans like around the pandemic because it was one of the only sports that was still going. So Stipe hasn't really fought in the pandemic apart from once. I think right at the beginning he got knocked out. So it's difficult for these kind of newer fans to kind of remember who he is. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he's a heavyweight and he's got serious power. Like in his hands, he can knock anybody out. So I wouldn't be surprised if Stipe won. Do I favour him in the fight? Probably not, to be honest. I think that Jon's going to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Stipe did land one and potentially dropped him.
As much as kind of there was speculation, could this be Jon's final fight? It sounds like he's got his mind on some other things, some potential other opportunities. Stipe, it's a little harder to read. He doesn't really talk a whole lot. He's not a big talker. Definitely keeps his cards close to the vest. What do you anticipate he might do if he finds himself in a situation where he comes out and maybe you guys could unify? Do you think he'd stick around? I
have no idea. I don't know either of them personally, so I have no idea what kind of situation they're in the personal life, where the body's at, where they want to be at mentally. You know, both guys have done everything that there is to do in the sport, so I have absolutely no idea, is the honest answer.
So where do you go from here? Where do you go from here if Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic are off the board? When do you want to fight again? Who do you want to fight? What interests you?
Well, I want to fight as soon as possible. And you know, early next year would be perfect, like the springtime, maybe like March, April. And I want to fight whoever they want to give me for the undisputed title is who I want to fight. I've never, ever been picky about opponents, and I will never be picky about it. That's not important to me. What is important is being the #1 heavyweight in the world, and however that looks, whoever that's against, I'm happy to oblige with it.
So going back, I want to go back to the fact that you are the backup fighter here. You know, when you're approaching this fight week and everything like that, we talked a little bit about it, but what's the mentality in training, in coming in this week, where you're not expecting the fight, but you sure could?
Yeah, so the training has been a little bit different. Not in terms of what I do, like I know what to do to prepare for a fight. Usually I would bring in like specific sparring partners and we'd work on specific game plans for the guy who I'm fighting, obviously. This time we didn't really have the luxury of knowing who I'm going to fight or if I'm going to fight. We still don't know. Still don't know, like 2 days away, if or who against. But the plan was just get myself as ready as possible. Like get myself fit, get myself conditioned, get myself used to the impact of grappling and striking and stuff. So we just did that. And if I need to go on Saturday, I'll be ready to go. And that's all I can do.
Jon had told us last week that he's about 235 pounds right now. I'm not sure where Stipe is at in weight. Where are you at weight-wise?
I'm like 260.
Okay.
Yeah.
How close are you to kind of starting to get to the point where you might have to watch what you eat and
Oh, no, I'm not close. I'm
No.
not close. No. I don't think I'll ever be that heavy. My natural weight is between 250 and 260. So I will always be around that as far as when I'm competing in mixed martial arts. That's my good weight, between that 250 and 260.
When you are waiting to find out whether that time comes or not, what are you doing to mentally prepare? How do you kind of decompress or kind of get yourself in the right mindset when you're approaching a fight, whether it's the one that doesn't come or on a general fight night?
Well, you mean like fight week or just preparing?
No,
in
like
general?
let's say in those 24 hours leading up to you weighed in, you're all set.
Yeah.
What do you play cards? Do you watch movies? What do you do?
I'm usually just in the room, just spend a little bit of time on my own. It's a difficult. That's really a difficult. I've really not mastered that, to be honest. In the time, it just feels like the longest day ever. Like you just waiting to, I kind of like don't want to be in the room on my own, but I don't really want to be around people. So I go around people a bit, then I get sick of it, then I go back to the room, and then I get sick of that, and then I'm just trying to like pass the time as much as I can and wait for the fight to start, basically.
Your family's not here, but are you kind of in contact with them leading up to it, or do you try to kind of just block it off for at least that period of time?
Well, my dad's there.
Yeah, your wife and your children.
Yeah. Usually, if I go anywhere away from home, because I love being at home. I'm like a home person. I don't really contact. Like I'm not one of them people who's like FaceTiming every day and I'm on the phone constantly. Like if I'm away, I'm away and I'm doing my duties, whatever I need to do. So yeah, I'm obviously messaging here and there, but I'm not like, I've got some friends who I travel with before. They're constantly like on the phone to the wife and FaceTiming the kids. Like, I just don't do that kind of stuff. Like, if I'm away, I get on with what I need to do there, and then I'll be back to my home stuff next week.
It's a business trip.
It's a business trip, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so, but obviously there is a little bit of business here. You must be compensated for the fact that you are a backup fighter. I'm sure you're not going to reveal the figure in particular, but how does it kind of stack up compared to when you're actually taking a fight? Just weighing in, what does that look like? Is it
Yeah, I'm getting amount of money, you know, the financial side of stuff. Like, I'm obviously satisfied with it, otherwise I won't be here. It's not as much as if I was fighting. But, you know, for me, at the moment, like where I'm at now, with the trajectory on what my career is going and where it's going, like, I'm busy outside of the gym. Do you know what I mean? Like, I got plenty of sponsors, I got plenty of other duties that I got to do and stuff like that. I got 3 children as well. Like, if I'm going to put myself through a training camp and be ready for a fight, I obviously need compensating financially for it. And yeah, the UFC have done a good job of that.
You mentioned your children, and you've started to open up a little bit more about your children, and especially your one child who has autism.
Yeah.
You've become a bit of an advocate for awareness for what parents can do, parents like yourselves, and kind of your story. What can you kind of say about your story and how it's kind of motivated you to kind of get to this advocacy?
Well, it's not something like, at the end of the day, I'm like a professional cage fighter. Do you know what I mean? There's not like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a specialist in autism or anything like that, but I know from my point of view, I have an autistic son, and I know what that looks like. I know what family life is around that, and I can only really speak for the situation in the UK, because that's where I'm from, that's where I live. And right now in the UK, there's a massive crisis of undiagnosed autistic people, massive. And there's a lot of parents out there who are struggling because they don't know how to help the kids, they don't know what to do with the kids, they don't know how to, you know, what to do with schooling and education and socially and all these kind of different things, because they don't have a diagnosis and they don't have any form of progression. They're just like kind of treading water, not knowing where to go. And I just want to raise awareness to that. I don't know if I can make a difference, to be honest, but I'm just trying to make it aware that there's a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people to be in fact, who are struggling and can't get a diagnosis and don't know basically what's wrong with the kids and how they can help the kids, which is a horrible position to be in. I've been there myself. So I'm just trying to raise as much awareness as I can for that.
And obviously you do have a massive platform. You're not a doctor, but you have probably more reach than the doctors who are able to help. Long term, do you think about kind of ways that you can use this platform to, you know, better the world or better your little corner of the world and that kind of thing?
Yeah, and that's something that we're working on as well. We're working on some charity stuff. We're even looking at maybe creating a charity. And there's a lot of help that can be done, whether it's from me or from others, within kind of children who need extra help in education, in life, and, you know, parents who need help as well. So that's something that is obviously very close to my heart and I'm very passionate about. So I'll be doing that kind of stuff during my fighting, when I'm active in fighting, and definitely when I retire, I'd like to do a lot more of that stuff when I've got some more time.
That sounds excellent. Well, Tom, it is a pleasure. I wish you luck, of course, with
you.
that. I wish you luck going forward in your career, as always. I'm sure we'll speak again in the future. And yeah, enjoy New York.
Thank you.